Hey guys, I'm Tim, aka the Lockpicking Patrolman, and this is my first real episode in my vlog series, which is where I'm going to be discussing the background and my progress into becoming a locksmith as my profession. And I want to start off by saying, as you can imagine from my channel name, Lockpicking Patrolman, yes, I am a real police officer. I've been a police officer for 13 years now, and I've done a lot of other things in my life too. When I was a teenager, I was a junior firefighter in the local volunteer fire department. It was a small department, so I got to do a lot of cool things, even as a junior. When I became old enough, I went through EMT basic class and got my certification there. And I also started working as a 911 dispatcher, and I did that for 10 years. I've done quite a bit in my relatively short time around. At 911, 10 years there, I was a classroom instructor. I was also an on-the-job trainer. Law enforcement, I got into that in my early 20s. And like I said, I've been doing that for 13 years now. And anyway, in the course of my law enforcement career, I've done quite a bit. I've worked regular patrol. I've done investigative duties. I've done intensive crime abatement, which is basically where you have a location that has a very high crime rate, and so you send in officers to really, kind of crack down on the crime to get, criminals to want to commit their crimes other places. I've been a kind of a one-man warrant squad for a while. I've handled narcotics investigations. Yes, I've gotten into police chases. I've been a supervisor, both a shift supervisor and operations manager. And I've worked as a school resource officer. And then a couple years ago, I got this really sweet assignment working a desk job, sort of. Keeps me Monday through Friday during the daytime. So I really am enjoying that right now. About 4.5 years ago now, I was listening to one of my favorite audiobook series. As you can imagine, I spend a lot of time in the car, for work. And, I had a joke, one of my old patrol cars had an autopilot to bring me home. It knew the way home. And so anyway, I've spent a lot of time in the car, and I enjoy that time listening to audiobooks and podcasts. But I was listening to a book series that I've enjoyed since I was younger. It was the Agent Pendergast series by Preston and Child. If you like thriller mysteries, that is the series for you. And the protagonist, Agent Pendergast, one of his accoutrements of his character is that he is an excellent lock picker and can pick almost any lock in seconds. And I got to thinking about that, and I said, when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to learn how to pick locks because, I read the Hardy Boys and other detective mysteries. And anyway, I said, maybe a little set of lock picks would be fun to have. And maybe they could be useful, when I have the opportunity and legal authority to use them in my line of work as a police officer. And so I started looking online and, just a broad search for lockpick sets for sale. And of course, I was overwhelmed by the options out there. And I sort of set it aside for a little bit. And then probably a month or two later, I got a random email advertising some Southward picks on sale. And I decided to go on and try to find a review of those picks. And of course, I stumbled across Bosnian Bill's channel, and he did a review. And I liked it, and then I started watching his other videos, and I'm like, there's a lot more to picking locks than just having the picks. You don't just have the tools and then shove them into the lock and the lock opens. So I spent time, before I spent any money, spent time watching, probably for about a month, just watching as many lock picking videos as I could. Not just Bosnian Bill, but lock picking lawyer, lock noob, Leon's lock pad, Red Cat Imaging, or Foxy 3. A lot of these channels from back in the day. And I got so interested in lock sport. I said, aha, I want to do that. Because at the time I wasn't, cooking like I do now. I wasn't, able to do a whole lot because I had an apartment at the time and I was working all the time. And so anyway, I wound up buying a set of picks and basically spent about three months or so interacting with people through comments and Twitter and Reddit, and just picking on my own. And then finally, I felt like I was ready, and I had a setup to make my first log sport video, and I did. And it's been on ever since. I mean, it's been awesome. And, that really grew, and it was always a hobby of mine. I started always carrying my picks in my pocket with me whenever I went anywhere. And yes, I did get to use them in the line of duty once for actually something. It was actually going after a suspect who had locked himself inside of a room in a building. And, we didn't have the property manager right there to get us a key. So I went in, unlocked the door, and, we took care of everything. And, but anyway, it was about 2 years ago that, I started feeling the itch that maybe it was time to start looking for a different career. And I could go on and on in depth about why that came about, some of the reasons why. It wasn't any one particular reason. No one singular incident. But I won't go into all of those details because that veers into the realm of politics. And I don't discuss politics on my channel here, and I don't discuss it anywhere in a public forum under Lockpicking Patrolman. So, I respect your politics, and I hope you respect, mine, and we can respectably have differences. But we're adults. That's what we can do. So anyway, a couple years ago, I started really just kind of feeling the itch because, I'd worked 911 for 10 years, and I said, at about the 10-year mark, when it was, a little less than a year before then, I said, maybe it's time to move on. And so I think that's sort of what I started feeling a couple years ago. And so I started watching a lot of videos that concentrated less on the lock sport, but more on the locksmithing. Jason Meek's channel of SE Lock and Key was definitely a prime channel for me to watch. And so I spent a lot of time watching his videos and learning sort of the nuances of, what it was to be a locksmith. And that really, really hooked me. And I said, I want to do that. So the next video in this series, I will discuss sort of where I went from there to where I am now. I promised I would make these videos short. We're at 10 minutes. So until next time, y'all stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you next time.